We are 6 months into the year already. And if you're like, holy crap, how is that possible? How do we only have 6 months left? How is it July? What is even happening? Today, we are going to do a mid-year check-in to audit, realign, reevaluate where you are on track with your goals and to just reset, take a deep breath, and feel good to make an impact the remaining of the year. 6 months is still a long time. I'm sure if you look back at everything that you've done this year, you would be like, okay, wow, that is amazing. But when you're in the day-to-day, it can feel like you are overwhelmed, like you don't know what you're focusing on, like you don't know where you're going and what your goals that you even set in January even are. And that's why I want to do this mid-year check-in so that you feel confident going forward and you're not just willy-nilly getting to December and being disappointed that you didn't hit your goals or that you did hit your goals but with no strategy behind it. Just because you made goals in the beginning of the year doesn't mean that they matter now or that they're even applicable now. I know when a few years ago, I would make goals for the whole year and I would map out like each quarter or like what would happen for the rest of the year. And what ended up happening was I would get to the end of the year and some of those goals didn't really matter anymore. Like I'd get to the end of Q2 and be like, actually, this is not the direction that I want to go, or I thought I would have time for this and I didn't. So it's really important to come back to your goals and reset to make sure that you're on the right trajectory and that what you even set forth in January is what you even want to continue on and accomplish. Because at the end of the day, goals are just, if there's no purpose behind them, they're just dreams and there's no way to actually get there. You need to have some sort of strategy. Another thing I notice a lot is we have so many goals. And so when you get to the end of the year, you're like, oh, it's another year. I didn't accomplish. I didn't get done everything that I wanted to, and I just don't want you to feel that way. 2025 was a year that I got so hyper clear and so obsessed with tracking metrics and staying on top of everything. And it was the year that I actually did every single thing I said I was going to do, which not only was exciting and something that I was really happy with, but it boosted my confidence so much in knowing that I can make things happen. And that's what I want for you. Because when you have trust and confidence in yourself, you're able to show up differently, show up as a leader, and show up the way that you want to. And that's what I want for you. And something important to note too is that what you do today in your business is going to impact you 6 months, 9 months from now. You still have 2 full quarters left. Do not wipe away the year. Do not think, okay, it's a wash, I'll move on, 2027 will be different. You still have 6 whole months, and the momentum and the impact that you can make still this year can be huge. So let's take these next 25 minutes or so, however long this episode is going to be, and really audit, refine, and realign so that you have a specific roadmap on what to work towards going forward towards the end of the year. You may want to listen to this episode once as a run through and then go back through it again line by line and write down the questions, journal on this and just re-listen to it more in like a tactical action step way, because I do think that this is going to be really, really helpful. It's something that I've walked through all of my private clients through, and it's then something that I do at the end of every quarter and then definitely in the beginning or in the middle of the year. So let's dive right in. Hi, I'm Olivia Austin, and this is Behind the Design. Let's get into it. The first question that you are going to ask is, are my numbers on pace? And if you've been listening to this podcast, you're probably so sick of me saying this, but you have to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, how do you even know where you're going to go and what your goal is? You're a business owner. You have to know your numbers. You are making money. Otherwise, you just have a hobby. So it's important to know exactly what you're working towards and where you currently are. So here's how you're going to audit your numbers. what is your revenue goal for the end of the year? So for example, if it's $300,000, you should be at $150,000 in cash collected already this year. So, or if it's 200,000, you should be, 100,000. Really look at your P&L from year to date. So like if you have QuickBooks, this is super easy. Go into your P&L, go into the system, run a P&L from year to date, 2026, and see where you're at. If you are on track, amazing. Is there anywhere that you could push? Is there anything that you could do to stretch your goal by, 5%? Really get clear on where you're at. If you are good, then like try to push yourself if there's any wiggle room for that, or just continue to stay the course and know what needs to happen going forward, which we're going to go over. If you're in a deficit, what is the deficit? It's if you're, 300,000 and you're at 127, what is that deficit? So you need to make up 23,000 in Q3 and Q4. So just get really, really clear on what that number is and then where you are on target for that. If you're like, I don't even have a revenue goal number, then let's make it. Look at your P&L, look at what you've made this year and what feels realistic going into Q3 and Q4. So if you're someone that coasts and you're like, oh, I made 6 figures, or, I've made 150,000 just because, I've always done that, or 200,000 is my goal because that's like what I did last year, then it's time to push and you can, continue to push forward. The worst thing, in my opinion, is realizing that you hit your goal without even trying. Like that is just leaving money on the table. If you get to the end of the year and you're like, oh, I made 300,000, but like how, what, why, what did I even do? I was overwhelmed. I was burnt out. That is not exactly what you want to be doing. You want to have purpose and intention and strategy and ways to grow the business with purpose. So I don't want you to be floundering. That's the whole point of this episode. So know your revenue goal, look at what the deficit or where you are on track, and get really clear on where you need to go from there. So from there, you want to average out what you need to make per month for the remaining of every year. Personally, I like to slow down in November and December. The last 2 weeks of the year, I take pretty much completely off. So make sure you have like vacations and holidays and all of that, and take that into consideration. But how much do you need to make in order to get to that goal? So that is the number part. I want you to pull a P&L year to date and see where you're at compared to your revenue goal, and then how much you need to make every month going forward for the rest of Q3 and Q4. The second question you're going to ask is, does this capacity add up? So for example, that number means nothing if you cannot hold that amount of clients. If you all of a sudden 10x to your revenue, or every single lead said yes tomorrow, can you actually deliver that? So look at what your monthly revenue needs to be, what the rest of the year, the Q3 and Q4 revenue needs to be to make up or to equal your goal, and divide that by your package prices. So like whatever your average price like offering is, how many clients do you need in order to hit that revenue goal? If that's a difficult question for you to answer, then your offer suite needs to be tightened up, but that's an episode for another time. But you should know how many clients that equals. If that number is terrifying to you and you're like, there is absolutely no way that I can work with 20 more clients for the rest of the year, then you need to tighten up your offer suite and increase your pricing to equal the amount of hours that you can work and the capacity that you can handle. And that's just going to be a total reality check for you. I would also look at, I didn't mention this in any of these audit questions, but I would also look at what clients you've worked with in the first half of the year, which ones you've enjoyed working with, what the average, price point is, what type of project or type of client they are, like what you did for them, because that can also help drive, action coming up for the next quarter, the next few quarters. So I really want that question of how many clients do I need in order to hit that goal really, really sink in, because this is where you can completely change the trajectory of your entire year by looking at that revenue goal, knowing how many clients you need. And if there's a price increase that you have to make, either, by 10 to 20% in order to hit that goal. Because the other thing too is I don't want you to be another point of this episode or this workshop training is so that you are not hustling more. Like, I don't want you to look at your goal revenue and be like, oh, I just need to work harder. I need to do more. I need to get more clients. Like, we want to do this strategically. So at the end of the year, you're like, wow, I hit my revenue goal. I worked less. I had more high quality clients. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by having a tactical, intentional strategy behind it. And that's what we're doing here. Again, does that really get clear on the amount of clients? So if you're like, oh my gosh, 20 clients is ridiculous. I need to onboard 3 clients a month, but I'm averaging right now 1 to 2 clients a month, then let's price increase and scale that down a little bit and see what happens and what your gut reaction there is. Real quick, if you're someone who's been listening to this and thinking, okay, but how do I actually make this work around my life? I made something for you. It's a free workbook called 6 Figures, Part-Time Hours, The Ambitious Founder's Guide to Building Without Burnout. For the last 3 years, I've worked 3 days a week running 2 businesses that make multiple 6 figures per year separately, and this work is the exact framework that makes this possible. You'll get hyper clear on what's holding you back, where to focus, and what your exact next steps are to remove overwhelm and start to thrive in business and life. It's completely free. Check out the link in the show notes to download it now. Okay, back to the episode. For systems, I want you to think, if you doubled your revenue this year with the current systems that you have, would you be able to deliver? If the answer is no, then we want to not only tighten up the offer suite and increase the pricing, but really look at the back end of your systems of how can you automate, delegate, how can you hold that capacity? There's a really good book. It's called 10X is Easier Than 2X. Highly, highly, highly recommend that book. Whether you want to 10X your revenue or not, every single business should read this. It's all about the back end of your business and knowing what to focus on if you want to scale. Okay, the third question is, what are you doing with your time? This is so important because this is really like a gut section test. Like, when I just said that, asked that question, you either felt confident and good with how you're spending your time, or you were like, oof, I need to like really think about what I'm doing. I'm totally guilty about this. I'm so off of my routine right now because we are living in a rental house. We like don't have any of our stuff. I don't have like my gym membership. I don't have like my workout stuff. I don't have like half of my clothes. Like, all of my things are in boxes. So what I've been doing, like some of the things I'm doing, I'm not super proud of, like spending more time on my phone or, watching TV instead of walking, or sitting down most of the day versus standing up, like not doing as much journaling and intention as I would like to. And most likely a lot of the things that you're doing, it's not that you need to do more, you actually need to do less. Like, there are things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis that you need to take away that will then add to the quality of your life, and just add to your business and help you grow your business. So if I looked at your calendar from the last 2 weeks or month, would it match the goals you wrote in January? I've said this before, goals are a place to come from, not a place to get to. So if at the end of the year, your revenue goal is 300K, what is Olivia, who runs a 300K business, like what is she doing on a daily basis? What is her role in the business? What is she doing? At work, what is she doing outside of work? How is she showing up as a mom? What is she doing? would they tell the same story or would it be something completely different? What you do when no one is watching, your daily habits are the difference between who you are now and who you are at the end of the year, who hits her goals. It really does come down to, I mean, the amount of strategy and systems and tactics that I teach you in this podcast, you should be able to hit a 300K year, like hands down. The mindset and the habits are what are going to get you there and taking action. So don't skip this. You need to be able to hold your growth. And this is I'm currently compiling a bunch of case studies right now for my private coaching clients. And what I've been so surprised to see, like a lot of them will double, triple, like quadruple their revenue, grow their team, do all these amazing business things when we work together. But all of them I've read through 5 case studies. All of them have said that the biggest change was mindset and their life because they built that confidence to hold the growth. Like if they were to have tripled their revenue without feeling confident and able to hold that amount of money, that amount of business responsibility, they wouldn't have been able to do it. So I know I've said this a lot, but mindset and high performance habits and all of that is the difference between, it should be a part of your strategy. It's easy to just be busy, and that's what I want to get rid of that. Like we could be go, go, go all day, putting our head down, doing all of these things, but being busy is a form of self-sabotage. Like it's not a badge of honor. You want to be super intentional with what you're doing every single day and having everything filled. One thing that I actually love to do, and obviously this is not like practical every single day, but I will sometimes write into ChatGPT. I use Claude mostly, but ChatGPT I actually like for more like tactical things like this. I will go in ChatGPT and say, here's everything that I have in my calendar this week, and these are the hours that I have to work. This is the workout class that I want to go to. This is like, Friday afternoons I'm taking off to go on the boat with my family. Reverse engineer my schedule and like line by line tell me exactly what I need to do in order to like hit my XYZ goal. And it leaves no room for openness. Like it tells you exactly what you need to do on a daily basis coming from your like main goal. One other crazy thing I did on ChatGPT, I'm like totally side railing right now. One other thing that I did was I spent like an hour. I can't remember if I've said this before. I spent like an hour training ChatGPT to basically, I made a custom GPT to serve as like my business coach. So I told them like my 2 like role model, like people that I want to be, that I love the way that they show up, the way they lead, like the businesses that I want. And I had it like research them, do all the things, like basically dissect how they operate, and then had trained it to be like my business coach. So now I'll go into that custom GPT and be like, this is my plan, like what do you think? And it serves as like those combined 2 people. I'm not going to say who they are because I don't want to be creepy, but yeah, it's actually been really interesting. So I'll put like my schedule in there and say, is this a good idea? Or can you reverse engineer that? And that's been another way to just like take that decision fatigue off of my plate and put it on there. So leaving nothing open, nothing to consideration. Okay, and all of that to say is just because we don't want to, again, end the year just like coasting there, just arriving at December 31st, when you can be super intentional now. You could go into Q1 2027 with so much momentum. You can go into 2027 with a guaranteed 20K month because of the momentum that you're building right now. So these are the questions that I want you to consider. How many hours this week went towards the thing that's actually moving the needle? And how many went towards things that were just self-sabotage or like just being busy? So like I find myself procrastinating a lot where I'll be like, okay, I need to sit down and focus on business development. I have like 2 hours right now to do, expansion and thinking and having the white space to grow, build, and expand. And I'll find myself like checking my email when that's absolutely not what I should be doing. So just thinking about all of those things that you're doing that are just keeping you busy or keeping you small. And what are the one to three habits that you're doing that are holding you back from getting to your next level or from getting you to that goal? Is it scrolling your phone, watching Netflix, staying up too late, not exercising, like whatever it is? You know, when I ask that question, exactly what it is. And it's not about being lazy or not doing enough. Like you're doing plenty. The whole point is for you to do less. Like I know you're working hard. If you are listening to this podcast, like you are an extremely hard worker. You're doing all of the things. But you're capped. You're exhausted. You're capped at revenue. You don't know how to get to that next level. So when you can focus on the right things and know exactly what to do to move forward, that's going to change the trajectory of the year. So I want you to write down one task you did this week that made you feel productive, which is a lot of things, but weren't necessarily towards moving the needle forward. So those are, I had quite a few questions in there, but so when you go to journal on this or go to reflect on this, make sure you go back and re-listen and jot those down. But basically they were, what are you doing what have you been doing that is getting you closer to your goals, and what are you doing that's not getting you closer to your goals? And really just audit your calendar on the habits and all the things that you're doing that will expand or are holding you back. Okay, the fourth question, and this is the last one, is what is already booked for Q3 and Q4? What actually happens, what is actually on your calendar for the next 6 months? Not what you're hoping, or not like the leads that you have in the pipeline or the proposals that you have out. Like what is booked, invoices scheduled, contracts signed, start dates completed, like what is booked already for Q3 and Q4, and be totally honest. Like the only thing that's going to help you here is honesty. If it's looking good, let's keep cruising and keep doing what you're doing. If it's not, we want to get leads in the pipeline ASAP. Your job as a business owner, we just did a whole episode on marketing strategies. Your job as a business owner is to market yourself and be visible. If you want to hit your goals, you know exactly what you need to be doing. I know you know, because I've been in your seat before and I knew, but I wasn't doing it. So what is actually booked for Q3 and Q4? Can you follow up with the proposals that are out? Can you follow up with past clients? Whatever it is, you want to get as much in the pipeline as you can, or as booked as you can for, at least Q3, so that you have some leeway. Another thing so what I want you to do in order to make that happen is over the next 30 to 60 days, be so ruthless about getting towards that goal. Do something every single day to get a new client. It could be 5 minutes. It could take you 5 minutes. It could be something that takes you 2 hours. It could be showing up on an Instagram story, sending a DM, replying to an email, pitching existing clients, like whatever. Get really creative. Just do something every single day. There is no excuse. You can do it. And again, like 5 minutes a day. It doesn't even need to be anything crazy, but and this is going to be easy for you if you're like, well, I don't know what I need to do. This is where this mid-year check-in comes in. Look at your revenue, know the deficit. How many clients do you need to make in order to make that happen? Get rid of the habits that are holding you back. If you're like, I don't have an extra hour a week, I bet you've spent an hour scrolling Instagram this week. Take that hour and turn it into action. So get so hyper clear and so like savage. Consistency is key. Like I know nobody likes to hear that because it's annoying and it's like oversaid, but there's something to be said about obsessive consistency, and I know you can do it. And it doesn't need to be like at a certain time of day, just get it done and you will be so surprised at the impact that it has over the next 3, 6, and even 9 months. And again, like finishing the year strong, and not even finishing the year, going through the year strong, and then yes, finishing the year strong is going to propel your momentum forward for Q1 2027. So don't discount, even if you don't see results immediately. Okay, so now you know your number, you know your capacity, you know your next steps that you know that you need to go forward. Oh, actually, one thing I do want to say about the pipeline is look back and audit on your clients that you have already had this year. Like what were really good clients, what were not good clients, what were good projects, what are some things that you would do differently? Is there something that you could remove from your packages to make it a little bit more streamlined? Like were there different ways in your systems? Like all of that stuff. What can you do? And also, where did those leads come from? Were they from referrals? Were they from Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest? Like figure out where they came from and then double down on that person. And also like speak directly to them. Like if you had an ideal client, you were like, oh my gosh, it was the best project. I absolutely loved working with them. This is everything that I did for that. Talk more to her in your marketing, and that will just help like have tunnel vision and know exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it. Okay, so now you know your numbers, you know your capacity, you know what you should and shouldn't be doing with your time, and you have action steps to actually hit that revenue goal. And that's the clarity that I want you to have. Again, re-listen to this episode, go through everything more purposefully. You have 6 months left. Like that is so much time. Like my entire life has changed in 6 months. And I know that it can happen for you as well. Build towards that goal on a daily basis. And like I said before, what you do today will directly impact your revenue and your goals and what your business looks like at the end of this year. So be smart and do the right thing to do what you know you need to do and build that confidence with yourself to make that happen. Okay, I hope you found this episode helpful, and I'll see you next week.